Hey, and good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. This is your host, Kate of Gaia. Regular Wednesday night. Let's have some fun. We're going to take this into the land of Oz. Now, just waiting for we got Miranda calling in, and we have Tony on the board as well tonight. And we're going to take you guys into the world of Never Never Land. So it should be fun. Oh, sorry. Just read something there. Anyway, yeah, Miranda, your mic is hot on the board now. So is yours, Tony. I do have another caller that has called in. I'm going to assume that they're listening because they called in early, and I wasn't expecting any guests tonight. So, but I'll open the lines up a little bit later for anyone that does want to pipe in and join us on this wondrous little journey. I guarantee you, we are going to take you so far outside the box. You're going to find it hard to see where the lines actually started and actually ended. So get ready for this. This is going to be a fun one tonight. So, Tony, have we got you there, my friend?
You have indeed, Kate. Here, live and kicking.
Awesome. So here we are running that marathon again, huh? This is the third show today?
Yep.
As always, every Wednesday, huh?
Every Wednesday and every Friday.
Yep, we run the gauntlet. Yeah. Well, for you, your day starts at 4 p.m. UK time. Mine starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. So it's kind of cool. So we're just waiting for Zoe to show up here. Miranda, have we got you there, hon?
I think so. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
I didn't think I was there, but I am. That's brilliant.
Well, yeah. If you can hear me on the headset and you dialed it through Skype, then you're on the board, baby. So I've got you. You're in the show. So I will introduce you along the lines of let's just say lexicographer, I guess is the best way to describe you. Someone who can create lexicograms with wonderful brilliance.
Thank you.
What's your gift, hon?
I know what my gift is. I'm a word elf.
Yeah, that's exactly what you are.
That's what I am.
Yep. And right now, given that we're traveling through Oz in more ways than people could ever dream or imagine, things are going to get stranger and stranger, especially as we get closer to December 21st. For those that have been paying attention, the awakening is happening on a grander scale every day. And of course, today is the 12th of the 12th of the 12th, right? So here we are running most beautiful, 36th, that's consciousness. Welcome to consciousness. We crossed the line, and we're okay. So I'm just waiting for Zoe to call in. And for those that don't know, Tony, myself, Miranda, Zoe, and a handful of others have been walking the yellow brick road, decoding some of the most wondrous, beautiful things you could imagine. And, well, more accurately, that you couldn't imagine, because, man, this game just got, the truth just got way stranger than fiction, but it got a whole lot more fun. And what I will tell people right now is that yellow brick road that we're speaking of actually leads to the treasure chest. For all of you out there that ever wondered why you're here and you knew there was something different and something special, well, I assure you, that is exactly why you're here. And you can buy into the fear porn, you can buy into the tornadoes and the illusions, all you want. I'm not going to stop you, because that would be a trespass on free will choice, and I don't want to ruin the ending of your movie. You've got one scripted for yourself, and a particular game that you have to play, so whether you wake up or not, that's entirely up to you. And I think that's wonderful either way. So what do you think of those apples?
I think they're very succulent.
They are. This apple, by the way, people, isn't the one that puts you to sleep. This is the one that wakes you up. Sleeping Beauty's no more.
Formerly,
like I said,
formerly known as the green pill.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm not sure if Zoe, I'm not sure where Zoe is. I've got two callers on the board here. But what I was going to start the night off with, because, third time's a charm, Tony, and I've already read this little story twice today, so I'm going to read it yet again. So I'm not sure if Zoe gave up and decided to call in on a landline, but either way, yes, I guess. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. So we'll start off with this just to kind of set the tone, set the mood, and now I got to reopen it because my computer crashed about 10 minutes before I was going to go on air. At least it crashed before I was on air. That's good. Yeah. So like I said, I'm just waiting for this document to load up. I thought it was, but of course that was 10 minutes ago. Oh, and here's something else too that this might help people get into the now moment. You see, we've talked about intention before, and when somebody has an intention, it is always manifest in thought first, right? You have to think of it first before you do something, in as much as if you're going to go and pick up a cup off the counter, you kind of have to think about it first, right? So the thought must be there first. That's why your actions show what your true intentions are and were. And it's called the present. That's why it's called the present. Your now is the present. So when you're in the now, that is what you are presending ahead of you. That's how you create. All right? That's how you get the present, and how you can get presents and give presents. So it's quite something. Why is it doing this? Close that. There we go. Anyway, actually, tell you what, Miranda, why don't you give before I do this, give the people a bit of a background on you so that they can meet you a little bit closer. You've been on the shows before, but I just wanted you to try that and let people know who you are.
Who, me, Kate?
Yeah, well, they're all bored with me and Tony, so you're the only one on the line right now.
Okay. What about me? Well, should I tell you about today? Because in 1 minute it's going to be 12 minutes past midnight, but we're actually a day further ahead now. We're coming out of the 12th. And today was totally significant to me. I meditated for most of it, got loads of downloadings and uploadings, and really realised through lexigramming my birth name, which I hadn't really done before, and Kate, you sort of mentioned it, and that's what I've been doing, and it's fascinating. I actually realised that my birth name has been the verse of her story and song of my life, and I have created everything from that. It's fascinating that everything that has happened to me to this point in time is in my name. People,
absolutely,
everything. I wrote my life.
Did you want to? Do you have the lexigram that you've done for it? Maybe you want to share it.
Well, I haven't done one for my name specifically, but whilst doing my name, the Wizard of Oz kept coming up and kept coming up. And I watched a bit of this afternoon, and I suddenly thought, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's in my name. Oh, that's interesting. That's in my name. And so I've written a little thing to do with the Wizard of Oz, and I can read that. So
yeah, why don't you do that, and then that'll be a perfect setup for the essay. I can feel it. All these things are coming together in the now. It's beautiful. Okay.
Well, I'll quickly sort of translate what a lexigram is, because people might not know. It was Linda Goodman, the world-famous astrologer, who started lexigramming, and it is a spiritual form of penetrating a word, a name, or a sentence, and on a very high spiritual level. It's not like a word game like an anagram. This is quite it sends you into a spiral, and once you get it, if you like words, you just fly with it. I've slightly cheated because I needed to have a W in my name, and as I have an M, I've turned it upside down, so I do have a W. And I also have a Z, because if you turn an N on its side, you do get a Z. So this is a bit of a cheat, but
that's what lexigramming is all about.
Yeah.
And it's when you have to see it, you play with it. They do that all the time. That's how this language works.
So my original birth name is Jemima Lucy Moth Peggotty Morland Telfer. And from these letters, and only using letters, this is what you can come up with. So, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. So I've got Dorothy Gale, who is Judy Garland. So everything I'm saying to you now is in my name. Toto, Ken dog. Terry, the dog. That was the dog's real name. Auntie M, Uncle Henry. Almira Gulch, Margaret Hamilton. So Almira Gulch was played by Margaret Hamilton, and they're in my name. And in the story, she meets a fortune teller and a tin man and a cowardly lion and a man made of straw. But I don't have an S, so I've said man made of hay. And here are a few little ding-dongs. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog. And you can spell that with my name. And there's a red cloud of smoke, yeah? And claim her powerful red footwear. Glinda magically put the red footwear on the feet of Dorothy. And then she goes off to the Emerald City. Follow yellow road. Man made of hay wanted a mind. A tin man wanted a heart. Cowardly lion wanted courage. Lion ready to face danger. And then there was a witch trap. Large head in the city. Flying apes. Drowned Toto. Put on the uniform to hide. Watch the witch melt. Toto opened the curtain to find nothing more than an ordinary man, apologetic, float up with hot air. Toto jumped out. Tin Man and Lion and Hay Man left in charge of the Emerald City. You had the power to return home all the time, Dorothy. Tap your heel once. Tap your heel twice. Tap your heel for a third time. Dorothy returned to her room, all family and friend there. All were worried out of their mind for their little Dorothy. And I mean, I just wrote that very quickly tonight, and I know there's loads more to come.
No, that's quite impressive, kiddo. Wow. And that's all out of your that's all out of your name.
Yes. And I did send you the Gravity Falls stuff as well, didn't I?
Yes, you did. And I haven't had a chance to go through that because I wanted to go through it with you, and of course we've been busy. And
yeah, because that's very interesting too.
Right on. Well, here, just for another sake of argument, and so people can get a real idea of it. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that know who I am, and you actually revealed a lot to me by doing the lexigram of my name.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of curious, especially now with actually two names that I've got in terms of the Wizard of Oz in the same way that you've done it with. I can just imagine. But if you could share that, just that'll probably give people another deeper understanding.
Yep. Let me go get it quickly.
Oh, we have Zoe. We do have Zoe. There she is. Hello, Zoe.
Hello.
There you are. Okay. Yeah, you're live on the air with us now. Thank you, sweetum. We're just waiting for Miranda to pull up another lexigram.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay,
so
thanks,
again, a lexigram has been used to describe a mystical property of words similar to numerology, and a lexigram decodes hidden messages in words or titles by putting together full sentences from the letters in that word that convey a deeper meaning of the original word, and it is considered a spiritual process. And so Katie's full name is now Catherine Renee Thompson, and I don't know if you're aware, she used to be called Keith, and here is a lexigram of her name. Is she a he or not? Is he a she or not? No matter. Katie is not a person. Keith is her name, no more. She is honest. She is the hope, the mother ship to take me home. Emperor and Earth Mother, here to steer the sheep, to speak to the nation, no more names. She is the timekeeper, an astronomer, here to interpret for the sheep, to steer the sheep at Easter time, a path taker, a map maker, Thesmophoria, the Rosetta Stone. She has reset the time, a hierophant sent to atone. In this transient hemisphere, someone, anon, no one, no man, no name. No more Romans, no more ransom. This is treason, not honour. Katie, the noisemaker, the pioneer, has honour. Her home is Orion. She is arisen to honour the sheep, to steer the sheep. No more Roman spin, no more Roman shit. Katie is here to atone the sheep, to take them home, to take me home. No more I in this Roman theatre. Katie the Tsar, sent here to atone the sheep. No more sheep, no more names, no more Roman tormentors. To Katie's Orion Empire. Amen. To Katie, Catherine, Renee, Thompson. Amen.
Like I said before, I've got a little bit to live up to, and I will do my best to do that.
Yay! I think you're doing fine.
Well, I think the same of you and everyone else too. This is the thing I'm trying to get across to people. You're gods. Start acting like one, for crying out loud. So, but yeah, it's been an interesting trail of late. That's to say the least. So, I'd love for you to do Tony's and Zoe's, but we'll do that separately, because I got to tell you, a lot of the stuff that, as you were going through it, I mean, when you said two things that you said were Emperor and Hierophant, and I automatically go to the tarot on that.
Yeah.
Right, because I read tarot. I've got two decks. I've got the Arthurian and I've got the Celtic tarot. And for those that don't, if you've listened to Santo, he's went into a lot of good explanations of that, and that is another divinity method. And a lot of people, well, it's all hocus pocus. Well, duh. What do you think this is? This just showed up? Are you kidding me? Think about it. There's a lot of energy here. A lot of manifestation went into creating this place. It's quite the playground. So. Go ahead, Tony. Grab the helm for a sec. I need you.
Yeah, I was just about to actually interject there, as it happens anyway, because whether or not people are aware of it, there is a technology that's been used by the military, and it has been confirmed by Stephen Greer. The military technology that is being used and is being implemented into the commercial industry is called WSFN. And why is it called that? Well, it was named by the Black Ops military as Weird Science and Freaking Magic, and it was their name, not mine. Then actually Stephen Greer went public with approximately a year and 3/4 ago. Who's Stephen Greer? Well, he's the head of the Disclosure Program in America. If people don't know about that, it's all about top military officials disclosing UFO technologies and alien technology. Just go to any search engine, type in Disclosure Program, and you'll find 4 hours of some of the world's most important, if you like, military people that all had the nuclear launch codes. Again, that's another story, but they did indeed have the nuclear launch codes to the ICBMs, which were intercontinental ballistic missiles. And they had UFOs turning up over the bases, turning off the missiles and denuclearing the ICBMs. So that is a historical record, just for reference, on WSFN, Weird Science and Freaking Magic. And that is now it's been admitted to and it's being rolled out into the commercial area as well under certain Black Ops programs. But just to interject there.
Well, what Tony is saying in short, people, is lose the fear. There's no reason to worry about it, because there is more going on here than you could ever imagine. Well, actually, you can, because you did, and you're part of the game, part of the illusion. you've got a role to play. So I just want to carry on with the Wizards of Oz, and then we're gonna take this off in the Neverland with Peter Pan as well. You guys game?
Yay.
Bring it on.
All right. Let's bring it on. So here we go. Once upon a time, or so the story began. This is third time the charm, by the way, guys. Once upon a time, or so the story began. Truth, as one will see it or not, is far stranger than fiction. Such is the effect of being too long in the twister that wrenched us from home and landed us here in Oz. All the while, we have been stuck in one tornado after another during the entireties of our lives, and based our opinion on the unoriginal ideas of others who have made a dog's dinner of our pure white canvases. With the constant spinning in the clouds, we only get glimpses here and there of any truths that might have made it possible to get to the Emerald City sooner and with less wear and tear. While I was watching a video of someone exposing this Masonic symbol or that Illuminati spell, I watched her miss the point entirely, based on her somehow knowing what all of it really meant. Unfortunately for her, she never stopped to actually question herself as to where she got her information. Granted, she was at least searching for something somewhere. She never once asked herself why the symbols were there. You see, she was too busy trying to impress herself and her viewers about her apparent wealth of knowledge surrounding these things to satiate the grown-up ego. Erstwhile, never has she lived a single syllable of her utterances. On and on I watched the tornado spin, hearing unoriginal spouting of diatribe, based on something she read somewhere, not once stopping to scratch her own head and possibly ask why. This is the all-too-common mindset of a well-trained mind, one trained to parrot something from someone else's work, not having lived a single moment of what it was they were declaring as truth. Sad, truly sad. We all have our Yale student moments in the bars of our life, dealing with our mirror of goodwill hunting, where we get caught, just as our Yale student friend did, regurgitating someone else's quote in the seemingly endless twister, trying to look smart. When Dorothy landed in Oz, all she had was her wits, a busted house, a dead witch from the east, a really cool new pair of shoes, and her little dog, Toto. Not much to start with to begin a quest of the magnitude even she was unaware of. Such is our world of Oz. Alas, with a little spurring on by some little people and a nice witch's blessing, off she went on her yellow brick road to find her own truth. Just her and Toto and a basket of food that was enough to last her for a day or so. All along the way of this road, like Dorothy's, we encounter things and people that will allow us to grow or will try to encumber us, to stop us from getting to our own Emerald Cities. As we go along here, I want you, the listener, to keep in mind that Dorothy, also known as you, always had the means to get home all the time at your beck and call. The good witch Glenda reminds us at the end of the story. The important lesson from this part of the story is simply this: don't judge a book by someone else's description of the cover. Our white canvases as children were badly smeared, and it takes a serious amount of cleaning to get them where we have room to be the child within and get original with our newly bared canvas. What is ironic about that video I was watching is that the whole time I was thinking that a few kids, likely less than 15 years old, cracked the codes of the show she was trying to expose, where I was given the gift to actually uncode the decoded segments. Who says you can't learn from a child? You can if you shut up long enough to listen. And therein lies the true crux of the problem. So many of us have grown up and are simply acting as children with a better means to harm others through the ability to collect money instead of pretty stones on the beach. While people have lost their child within, they never lost the child without, and that one manifests in countless forms of dramas and perpetual tornadoes in their lives. Many still absolutely rely on others to be the proverbial parent, cleaning up after them, settling their disputes, and cleaning their rooms for them. I like to refer to man's ability to build a nuclear weapon that can kill millions and never stop and ask the question as to why they should. This is where the ego knowledge has far surpassed the heart's wisdom. Man's cruelty to man is constantly evident in The Wizard of Oz from the outset, where sheer madness prevails in the form of Elvira Gulch. Later, the Wicked Witch of the West, with the misuse of power to hurt others. Elvira owns half the county, and as a result manifests a spoiled and greedy child who feels they need to control everyone else's playground. When people can see the childish and selfish antics within themselves, they may then get a larger view from stepping out of tornadoes. One does not need to own half the county to be the same as the witch duality. One need only become acutely aware of their ability to either create for self and others, or be a parasite of those that can create, and becoming a more vicious, if not readily visible version of the same destructive force. Either way, visibly or invisibly, the spoiled child is manifest and creates havoc in the cereal aisles of our lives. It is not so much that our childlike innocence has been destroyed, rather, it has been redirected through entrainment of the heart and mind. The grown-up today is simply the transformation of the child raised by other children that like to call themselves adults. Tornadoes of one kind or another are created every day, from the chattering neighbor type to the office water cooler and everywhere else the grown-up children play. During the scene where the Wicked Witch gets melted, she utters, "The last to go will see the first three go before her," which I saw as a wonderful clue on my own yellow brick road. I'm one of the kids that likes to keep my playground neat and peaceful. For me, the clue was this: before I can find the Emerald City, there are three things that need to be discovered prior. I had to discover the mindless strawman, as within, that is perfectly manifest, as without, in the legal illusion. Then I have to find my own heart in my vessel that has been removed due to the mindless banterings of the left mind logics without feeling. Finally, I have to find the courage to face these things within me, where the exterior manifestation becomes my own perfect mirror. This is what I like to call the mirror call, or miracle. All too often I meet people that talk a great story from the position of our Yale friend and inexperienced video analyst. What I find most interesting is that most people do not like the Wicked Witch, yet they are generally a perfect mirror of her, while casting blame and responsibilities everywhere but on their own shoulder. Too often, people take things for granted and place their burdens on others, preying on the goodwill and natures of others, never once thinking they are, and woe betide you if you tell them. You will either get met with anger or the glazed-over eyes of the perpetual victim, where neither can take it upon themselves to see what possible role in the equation of life they play. These are the uber children who have never grown up enough to find the innocence of their own child and are still creating playground havoc for the other kids. When people watch The Wizard of Oz, they can be entertained with all the pretty colors and fun storyline, or they can gain profound wisdom from a movie that appeals to the wisdom of the inner child. My estimates put the former at 99%, where you can see the 99% screaming out against their adoptive, by their choice, parents. Oh, and please don't hand me the, "but they did this and they did that" bullshit. If it is the bank or job you're mad at, you chose to use both and much more, and will continue to be a hypocrite in your raving. I must say, this does make it rather difficult for those of us that have stopped being hypocrites, and we're at the mercy of the other kids until they too wake up and shed the chains they're holding. This is a very circular and destructive tornado, and it really is a situation of finding the strength to hold one's position until the other kids have actually had enough of collecting everyone else's marbles to put in their own. When people can begin to view this world as a playground filled with misfit children, hell-bent on the destruction of their playmates, being led by the nastiest kids on the playground, maybe then they'll stop playing with them. A perfect example of this child-like mentality gone schizoid are those that are in an endless waiting for presents on Christmas morning mentality. They're the ones that not only want someone to wipe their noses and asses, but actually expect it. I, like everyone else, chose my path, and I take full responsibility for it. I am where and who I am based on my choices and no one else's. It was me that chose to go all in with this crazy game to see what truths were there. There are so many sitting around waiting to cherry-pick the victories of others, wanting to play the big truth games but haven't tossed anything in the kitty. Well, hey, you get out what you put in. What I find even more amazing, that while on my yellow brick road walk, I have not only tossed in the entire collective ante, I've been helping people along the way that are still happy to drain my resources in all their forms. Good thing I'm a creator god, or I'd be dead long ago. No, too many folks are quite content to sit in the life raft while people like me and others are drowning in the water trying to pull that boat to shore. And then they have the nerve to invite all their friends on board, too, to create more drag in the water while conjuring up one drama tornado after another. What is even crazier is that when you confront these children, they look at you with a dumb, "What?" expression. I've been gifted recently to have met an entire room full of people that are beyond that mentality and can see the bigger picture, because they're seeing with their hearts, not their straw men. The reflections on the yellow brick road are dazzling. To be continued.
Yay!
Yay!
Awesome.
Questions, comments? Jump in, guys.
Well, that's exactly where we're at. And that was something that I've totally realised today, that I've created everything. You know, I am the God in my universe, and I've created everything that's come to me, all the story, everything. And that's absolutely fascinating. And, you know, when you penetrate your name, there are good things as well as bad things in there, or whether you want to say good or bad, but that's the point. You know, this is the balance. This is the masculine, the feminine, the yin, the yang. You can't have good without bad.
And bad is there to teach you the reason why.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly.
That's the point. Everything's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And it's an alchemical marriage between those two that make you whole. And this is, again, the thing we don't realize is the divinity is becoming whole within ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know, joining ourselves together, the king and the queen, the male and the female together. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just wondering, there's a bit of hiss on the line here. I'm just wondering, Zoe, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, it's probably coming from your end. It's no big deal. It's just the background noise going on. So what I was thinking is, if you can mute while you're not talking, and then just jump in. And I'm going to ask you to jump in right now anyway. So, you know, I want to talk about things that you find in movies, and I want to try to start to show people a bit of the Wonderland. You know, some will get it, most won't, but that's okay.
I've really seen, I've seen quite a bit. I am seeing quite a bit. I really am with the belief that there is an absolutely awesome good side, and they are putting out great information in the movies if you can get to the point of seeing it from a child. A lot of information from, what did I just finish watching? The Polar Express. Rise of the Guardians are great movies. Galaxy Falls. Somebody posted that on the group, and it's a great cartoon. And it's rather funny. There's a lot of education coming out for the kids coming in, which is awesome. But basically, there's a heck of a lot of fear-mongering that's been going on for years and years, to the point where we're all confused. And it doesn't help either that we're indoctrinated into a system that plays the blame game. So a lot of us have to almost retrain ourselves to question, are we blaming because someone's to blame, or are we blaming because, you know, that's our indoctrination system? If you can get through all of that, you'll actually see it's a lot simpler, much simpler. I posted a Men in Black segment, which was, I thought, awesome. It's the one where they're in the post office, which is inside a lighthouse. And Will Smith is trying to talk to the other agent to come back. And this little girl cuts in and demands stamps. And the partner says, Elizabeth, you know we can't take your stamps. And then Will Smith picks her up and shoves her out of the way. And anybody who knows Elizabeth, we're talking about Her Majesty. And we've been led to believe that it's this huge wicked witch of the West. And if you can take a step back and really see what they're telling us, you'll be amazed at, the simplicity. Yeah.
I was going to say, my impression of all those that are in power are the youngest children of us all.
Yes, and it's an illusion. And I'm not saying that we don't ever have to be accountable for our behavior. That, you know, it starts with being responsible for yourself, having accountability for yourself, but also getting beyond who's who and who really holds the power, and being accountable, and who the illusionary individuals are, is really where it comes to. And I look at this as all the old fairy tales seem to be coming right back to life, and even Homer's Ulysses, where it's that you find yourself going away from home, and you fall asleep, and you get seduced on islands, and you get lost, and then the day comes where you start voyaging back home. But I had said to Kate before, it's not like you get to just walk in the door and yell, "Hey, I'm home." Sometimes you have to come back in and kick other people out that weren't supposed to be there. So yeah. And it's actually like the prodigal son. It's a healing, and it's just learning who's who and taking responsibility. And this blame game, it's the bankers, it's the aliens, it's the 3D or 4D entities, it's whatever. You know what? It'll keep you from finding the answer if you focus on distractions.
Yeah, the tornadoes.
Yes, and then the Mayan calendar, that's a wonderful distraction, you know. Like, I do believe there's changes going on, but it is already here, and it's continuing. Yeah, there's a lot of distractions because there's a lot of great stuff coming.
Exactly. And you mentioned the Mayan calendar, and this is something that goes back a lot of years with me, because a lot of times you'll see, pictures of the calendar, but it's not actually the Mayan calendar. That's the Aztec calendar.
Well, you have to question a calendar that just happened to be found under a church. What was it? The 1890s or something. But you have to question the convenient finding of it under a church, Catholic church. So,
yeah, there was another one found as well that actually carried on to some 200 years into the future as well. It wasn't just the one that's prompted to be the Mayan calendar. There was actually several, but this one was actually had more information on it, and it was found in the tomb of a king.
Ian Lungold, have you heard of him? He does he does a great summary on it. Yeah, he does a great summary on it, and but I do question, if they happen to find it under a Catholic church at the right time, you have to kind of go,
That's a little bit suspicious, like it was almost deliberate.
They wouldn't do that.
And that's something that I really want to get across to people tonight, so they can start losing this anger bullshit that they're all stuck in, and start to see that this is a show, that this is a play that we're all part of, that we're all actors playing a role in. And this is where we have to be the Peter Pan getting the shadow reunited, thanks to Wendy, right? Putting Peter Pan back together complete. Because what we're dealing with down here is the bodies that we're walking in are the shadows of ourselves. And what we're trying to do is reunite our true self with this shadow. And that's the correlation I see with the Peter Pan at the beginning when she ends up doing that for him, sewing the shadow back on.
Well, one of the things, too, that's keeping people from being a happy child and looking at things brightly is this fear-mongering. I told you I watched a video on this woman who broke down, what was that executive order that Obama signed in December 31st that was supposed to take everybody off to Guantanamo Bay?
I can't remember. I know the one you're talking about, though. And I know
where you were no longer protected if you were a U.S. citizen, and that. Well, this woman was breaking it down, and I'm looking at the words on it behind her head, and she's telling me what it means, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking, I'm going, that's not what it says. Basically, all it says is that you will no longer be protected in the corporate venue under being a citizen. They can take you into another jurisdiction, like private. It says nothing about Guantanamo Bay, and yet you have a bunch of people fear-mongering.
Fear porn.
And what it is I have a theory that these are the people that are in trouble. But if they can get you to fight their battle, bonus.
And that's what it is. It's always about getting tricked into fighting their battles for them, and they're sitting back laughing. While we collect all the bad karma, in terms of wars, killing each other, and all the rest of it, and it keeps us spinning out on these beautiful, horrifically large tornadoes of destruction. And so that's what I'm saying. People, we've got enough drama going on here as just to be part of the show. Best not add to it by creating stuff that you could take, a whole bunch of grown-ups arguing, and you could take it back to, the sandbox in grade 1 or grade 2, where people are fighting over this toy or that toy, and it's the same thing. The only difference is these children are referred to as adults, and they're the ones that are trying to raise other children. Are you kidding me? Anyway, rant over.
No, there's just an awful lot of fear-mongering going on, and if you can see it as a distraction from the truth.
Mm-hmm. Now, again, and there's another example that you brought to my attention as well. In the movie Jack Frost, right at the very end of the movie, and this is the whole thing about losing the fear porn aspect, at the end of the movie, Jack Frost looks into the camera and says this: "Now, when the man on the moon comes to your door, don't be afraid." And the movie ends. What the hell does that mean? Well, we kind of know what it means, and we're not going to tell you. You have to figure that out for yourself. I don't want to ruin your Christmas morning. Are you kidding me? And that's what it boils down to. And until people can let go, I've had this discussion with many people already. It's just, I'd love to share it with you, but I can't, because I'm not going to harm someone with information that they're not quite ready for. Because I don't even be harming myself if I did that. But I'll give you all the clues. If you're awake and alert enough, you can follow the Hansel and Gretel trail, no problem. But you better get your kid on, or you're gonna miss it. Hey, you guys feel free to jump in, Miranda, Tony, anytime.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm just looking at it with these, obviously, a bit like in They Live, with these different goggles on, and it's like, oh my God, incredible. But, yeah, again, you were talking about movies and giving us information that's encoded in a way that they just say, oh, it's only science fiction, when you've got situations like Star Wars and stuff like this. We have actually, got a situation where there is a war going on outside the solar system. But anyway, without going into that too deep, but they told you in Star Wars. And the guys that produced the movie were Hollywood. Hollywood's the magic wand. It's casting the spell. The point is, if you can see past the actual, it's only science fiction bits, you can actually stand a chance of getting to the truth. And that's just yet another example of how they disguise something, but only to the point where until you actually get what they're showing you, then it breaks the spell, and then you get the information that you actually been looking for all along. It was right in front of you, but they encoded it into a way that you couldn't decode it until you had the decoder, basically. And that's just, and it's many movies. It's The Matrix. It's it's loads and loads of different movies. It's all in there. Follow the Yellow Brick Road again. Wizard of Oz. Stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. And what I was going to say, the word fiction. People think that it's something that's not real. Well, here's the irony, guys. The word fact is based on the word Latin word fictitious or fictitious. So when you put every word in its equal and opposite mirror, because they both mean the same thing, instead of it being science fiction, read it in its mirror of science fact. And that's the joy of this language, because when you finally start to see the green language speaking the true angelish, not the garbage they teach you in school, but once you start seeing the multi-layers of never mind the words and the breakdowns within the words, but each letter individually has a spell into it. And when you finally see the mirror opposite of each word, a very blatant example I've used many times. If you refuse something, you're trying to say that you don't want it. But when you actually, if you look at the word properly, refuse means to rejoin. And I mean, there's another whole layer beyond that, but there's the opposite in one simple word. You know, so it's not a coincidence that anytime you were dealing with someone in the legal system, they would say to you, "Are you refusing a lawyer?" "Yeah, I'm refusing a lawyer." I said, "Okay, good." So what you've basically done is, you know, grab the lawyer. You'll never see them. But that doesn't matter. You've actually acquiesced to it just with your own ignorance of the language.
And also, just on that note, I'd like to point out that the science bit is wrong as well. The science is not the physics that you think. When somebody says science, you think, oh, you mean physics, you mean this, that, and the other. Well, there's another lie, because they lie to you about physics and the nature of the universe. It's not Newtonian. It's basically harmonics.
Yeah, well, the two words, Tony, science, psi being spirit, 23rd letter of the Greek alphabet, psi, and ence from the word essence, as in the spiritual essence. Here we have the spiritual essence fact versus the science fiction, which is exactly the same words, only completely opposite. Imagine that, eh?
Exactly. It's incredible.
Yeah. And again, this is where I like working with the word elf, Miranda, and I got to tell you, the people I'm talking with on this phone right now are some of the best sleuths I've ever come across on this planet for digging stuff out. You guys rock.
So are you, Kate? Awesome. We couldn't have got here without you. It's been
that's the thing. We're all part of the same team, you see, and this is how when we put all this stuff together, we get. I mean, you should hear some of the nights I've chatted with Zoe. It's, and then this, that, and the other, and it's one thing after the other. And I've done the same with Miranda, and I've done the same with you, Tony. You know, I can hardly. This is the first time the four of us have actually had a chance to have a shoot shit together. We've got a couple hours. Let's use it.
Exactly. It's all been, like I say, radio programs. It's all been tied up. But listen, what I do want to say as well, and I've got to be blunt about this. When we first started these programs, I'm talking about a year ago. You know, I was flipping terrified to start talking about things like teleportation and space travel and free energy and anti-gravity and all this sort of stuff. And it's been a hell of a journey. But what I need to point out to people is, when we were talking about stuff like this, teleportation, force fields, anti-gravity, and, you know, beam ships and all sorts of other off-world technology, since then there's been an absolute cascade of people coming out. Brett Stillings is another guy. He's been to Mars. He's teleported through some of the jump room technology we've got. He's also been time traveling into the future. And this stuff that you thought was science fiction is not. It's actual, it's basically, what we're living in is a holographic universe like you were shown in the Matrix. And we can bend space-time. We can travel faster than light. You wouldn't believe the stuff that we have got the capabilities to do. And that's exactly very accurate wording. You would not believe the stuff that we have technology to do. It's awesome. But like I say, look at William Stillings and Brett Stillings. They're just two of the latest. Over and above Laura Eisenhower, who's been offered trips to the moon, trips to Mars, etc. Andy Basiago, again, is another one. And there are absolute reams and reams of science. Who were we talking to? We had Steve Kelly on the other night. He's been working Black Ops for many years. He invented the laser sight for guns. Now, he's just gone public talking about beam ships and the deep underground military bases under the Getty Museum. I mean, these are CIA guys, Black Ops guys, that are all going, you know, blowing the whistle all over the place because they know we've got this stuff. We can teleport from, I don't know, England to blooming Australia in a split second. But the point is they're hiding it all. So we need to expose it all in order to get access to it all, okay? That's what's really going on here, guys, okay? like you went over.
Yeah, no, that's I was quite enjoying that. It's nice to. This all fits in with the whole aspect of the Wizard of Oz, and the fact that we are just playing a game here. This is a holographic universe. They showed us what it was all about on Star Trek: Next Generation, where we literally step into one world through doors. Adjustment Bureau was another great example of the holograph aspect, where you go in one door and come out somewhere else in the city, you know? And someone else would try to come through it, and if they didn't have the hat on, there's that hat thing again, it wouldn't work. The door worked as normal. So you had to be wearing this particular hat to get through these doorways.
Absolutely. Yeah. You needed to be armed with the information. I mean, we were talking to Stephen Kelly, who's actually experienced these beam ships, and he was saying you can look at a tiny little segment of the ship and sort of go into that little segment, and it opens out to a huge room. This is, anybody remember Doctor Who and the TARDIS, where you've got this little police box, you walk inside of it, and there's this big, massive ship control room in this tiny little box. It doesn't make sense in this reality, but the fact of the matter is that we've got technology that can do this stuff. It's just been hidden and kept away from us in order for us to complete our experience as human beings on Earth. And that's what we're doing. We come into closure now, 2012, with the Galactic Rift and all the rest of it, and we're here to help where we can and bring you through. So that's just what we're doing.
That's all it is. And we have gamers on both sides of it. So those that are trying to hinder those from getting through, and those that are trying to help. And when one understands it is just a game, and that you actually have to earn it, because if you don't earn it, you didn't learn it. And this is why there is no cherry picking in this realm. Okay, you can't sit around and wait for someone else to do it for you, because you won't have reality to carry on any further. And you know, you're not going to advance a kindergarten student into grade 1 if they didn't learn how to share in kindergarten. And that's really what this boils down to.
Yeah, you can't write a novel unless you've learned how to spell.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you know, don't try to talk to somebody about. Well, it's sort of like someone that works on a furnace trying to tell a cobbler how to mend shoes. If you haven't done the shoe mending, you shut up. And vice versa. Yeah, you haven't repaired furnaces. You don't know the first thing about it. Shut up. You might want to listen. They might have something to share for you. And that's what I find with so many people, is they get so wrapped up in their egos and how smart they are. All they're really doing is regurgitating someone else's nonsense and haven't had an original thought their entire lives. They're the ones that are so busy speaking off of a canvas that was never there. So all we're trying to do is take a flamethrower to your canvas and burn off all the crap and garbage that's been put on there since the day you showed up here, and give you an opportunity and hand you the paintbrushes and all the pretty colors again, and start painting your own. You know, paint your own Oz.
Yeah, and this time don't let anybody else paint on it for you.
Well, yeah, I've gotten pretty defensive of my my canvas. I mean, I always was, so I've always kind of marched to the beat of my own drum for the most part, and I was always willing to look everywhere, because as far as I was concerned, everything here is full of it. So I better look at all of it so I get a better idea of what being full of it really is, you know. So, but anyway, Miranda, Zoe, pipe in here, girls.
I was just thinking about films. As you say, Adjustment Bureau, loved it. Amazing film. And another one that I really like at the moment is In Time. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, isn't that the one with Timberlake?
Yeah, and he actually doesn't do too bad a job considering it's him. But that's the lovely one where they have time written like a barcode on their arm, and they have to earn it, and if they run out, they die.
It's like a credit of time.
Yeah. And they all live, they're all immortal. They live till they're 25, and then their clock starts. And they start with a year's worth of life and have to keep adding it. It's a fascinating, very, very good film. And then when he manages to break free and he gets lots of time, then he goes through all these different zones, going away from where he comes from. And it's almost like going through the chakras. It's moving up from the base to the top. Fascinating. Really, really clever film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
but you
all
can't
of them.
beat the old ones. I mean, Highlander.
Oh
Total
my goodness, yes,
Recall,
Highlander.
Terminator, the Blade films, all those old ones, and obviously the Matrix lot. But those are sort of my favourite films. And then the other one that I think's really marvellous is Magnolia. Have any of you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been
The
a
one
long
with Tom
time.
Cruise in it.
Yes, I saw that one.
I think that's a credible film because I know lots of people have seen it, and because there are like 8 stories in it of these group of people who are all sort of meshed and netted together in their lives, every person I know who's seen it has taken something completely different because they've resonated with a particular story. So the rest hasn't even sort of rung any bells for them, but there'll be one part of that that'll just go ding dong to them.
And that's the thing, just to add to that, triggering on the fabric aspect, where you might not get one of the threads, or all of the threads, but you'll pick up on one, and that's what we all are. We're all individual threads, all of the same tapestry, same story, but from a different perspective, and we all are connected to everything and everyone. And some of the threads got pulled a little tauter than others, you know.
And that's just totally reminded me of the other film with Angelina Jolie and that lovely black guy's in it, and they're all assassinators, and there's a young boy, I can't remember what it's called.
Yes,
and
Salt?
Yes, no, not Salt, the other one.
Wanted?
Wanted, that's it. And do you remember Freeman Morgan in it? And it is all about the threads in the tapestry, and that's how they get the name.
Yeah, and you can go back to the characters in the Matrix if you want to start really seeing the different layers and how they interweave. And again, it's things that I'm picking out that are relevant to me in as much as everyone else needs to pick out what is relevant to them because they are part of that thread and part of that fabric. And once we start weaving this fabric together, all of us collectively, that's when we recreate the new tapestry. And that's what we're doing right now. We're all doing that.
Yeah, another 2 were Avatar, which people were left with profound feelings coming out of that cinema, and also the same with Prometheus. Oh, yeah,
Prometheus, I haven't seen that, but the story of Prometheus has always been very profound with me. In the total meaning of it, with him and his brother Epimetheus. I mean, if you want a life lesson, you just look at those 2, and you'll get it. But you have to start looking at it mystically. In the fire that Prometheus was thought to have brought to Earth, it wasn't fire in the literal sense to keep warm. What it was fire of the mind. And it gave mankind enough information to awaken, and that's what angered the, quote, gods, unquote.
It like the word pyramid, fire center, and the pyramids were a very big part of this, and still are.
Oh, yeah, pyramid.
Yeah.
Pyramid's in my name, by the way, guys. Just thought I'd throw that little one in, of course. Pyramid, triangle, and geometry. Yay!
Yeah, the word elf indeed. I love it, you know. And it's amazing, you know, as I've walked through my own thread here, weaving in and out of your fabrics, you know, you're all threads with me, right? We all interweave our threads. And the kind of pictures that we can weave and patterns that we can weave into our section of this tapestry is what can determine other patterns. And this is what we're doing. When people are tuned in, or anyone that we're coming into and meeting, by default are connected to all of us. Because they enter into what our threading pattern is for a reason. It's not because, you know, it's fluke or happenstance. It's because when a certain thread is ready to come in and weave its magic, it will show up. It's sort of like when the loom is getting low with thread, a new thread shows up and it finishes the detail of the pattern. And that's what we're doing, is we're weaving this beautiful new tapestry that is now unstoppable. This is the new fabric of space and time, people.
Yep, golden age. And it starts with consciousness.
Yeah, so wake up. or do I have to make it snow in your poppy field? Rain down some cold, hard truths. You know? But some of the trails that I've been working on with Zoe in particular, because my background and Zoe's are very similar in the legal sense, and we've interwoven on many occasions on that one, eh, Zoe?
Oh, and we've had our ass handed to us on a platter.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah.
But did we get the lessons out of it, and did we see the things we needed to see? Absolutely.
Yes.
Hey, Zoe, spill the beans.
See, that's what you're going to get. Silence. Not going to tell anybody.
Well, I really don't know.
There's no easy word.
Yeah, that's why I'm friends with Katie. Katie's the mouthpiece.
Yeah, what Zoe is trying to convey is exactly what I've been trying to convey without giving it away, because we don't want to ruin Christmas for anybody. But here's the bottom line, and it's not that anyone is trying to keep anything from anyone. It's at a point where you get this sudden urge inside of you that you're not allowed to, in that when you see the matrix start to unravel before you and you start to really get a grasp on what it is, you kind of go, oh, is that ever cool? And it would spoil it for people if you just, it'd be like throwing a bucket of ice water in their face and they'd be pissed off at you because you ruined their game. And that's what it is. We're all playing a different role, a different game here in this infinite matrix. And we're just deciding to take on a different role, one that, brings us closer to our true God status, instead of being, manipulated by other gods, and they're having a field day with us, by keeping us bickering and fighting and ignorant. And as soon as you can go to peace, that's the game changer. That's the only one I've found.
It's perfect. It's in the mirror. You'd never find it.
Yeah, And as much as I was, here we are, battling away to find peace. When you stop and think about it, it's like, well, if you want to solve things, you're not going to solve them by going to war with another individual. And the chances are the other individual that you're going to war with is actually put there for you as your test, if you can see it and learn the lessons from it. And some of us have paid very, very, very expensive, what do you call it?
Paid a high price
to get this truth, and I'm glad because I got front row seat now.
I do not regret anything I've gone through. And
you and I have got gold ticket seats, baby. So is Miranda and Tony.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think everything that has been the worst for me has been the most enlightening and awakening, and actually I'm most grateful for. And I wouldn't change a thing. And I've had quite a lot of shit in my life, and I really wouldn't change a thing, because I wouldn't be who I am now. And that is part of what made me. Those were my threads that made me here. And I'm very grateful for that. And I've learned a lot of lessons. And I feel, whether we believe in karma, whether we believe we come back a lot of times, I feel this time, in this lifetime, I've paid my price and a lot of family prices. Do you know what I mean? I think I've cleaned my ancestral line a lot. I'm very glad to have done as well.
Totally.
Come on.
Totally. You are the ascendant of your ancestors. You're not the descendant, you're the ascendant. In other words, you're the best that they could produce through all that timeline and lineage. Isn't that right?
Sorry, I couldn't unmute there. So, yes, absolutely. You said it perfectly, Tony. We are the net result of all the things that came before, and what a wonderful perspective on that, Miranda. And here we are cleaning up a lot of the old family lines. So I mean, regardless of where we go from here, I mean, that's our choice of what we want to do and what direction we want to go. So that in and of itself is a major lesson learned, where we can take it upon ourselves to clean some of that karmic slate, not just for ourselves but for those around us,
and set a bright future in place for those before us.
Yeah, the day is going to come very shortly where, it's going to be, I told you so, and it's going to be glorious. It already is. I can already see it. And
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about Tony wanting more information and feeling kind of not sure what to say. And I thought, if I could assist anybody into learning a bit more, I would suggest they go to the Federal Trade Commission website. They've got a wonderful booklet and instructions on how to file for identity theft. And that is a wonderful tool that they've given you. And a lot of really good information can be gleaned from the booklet that they offer.
Sorry, Zoe, can you say again? Federal Trade
Commission. See, I think if you look at the Men in Black little YouTube, what they're basically telling you is the federal law enforcers are not our enemy. In fact, the way they pushed Elizabeth out of the way tells you exactly who they are. And they are not our enemy at all. But they have, there's a lot of information that could be gleaned from some of their brochures that you can actually use even now in certain situations. But just the information alone is, it kind of helps you steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, and you said it very poignantly, and I'm going to reiterate it only because people really need to hear this. They are not your enemy. The only enemy that you are seeing is the one that you are forcing them to reflect back to you. This is where...
Another enemy that we're seeing is the disinfo. We have huge videos. Look at the cops beating this one today, that one tomorrow. If you really wanted to look into that, Dallas Goldbug does wonderful work. He's on YouTube, where he shows you that the same actors are in a lot of these so-called videos. So is this really happening? Or are these just actors, the same actors that showed up in the G20 are the same actors that showed up at Occupy Wall Street? And they were the same ones getting arrested and pepper sprayed. And you have to really look at the fear you're being sold.
Yep.
And so I encourage everyone to look at Dallas Goldbug's work, because he's going to make you really shake your head. But I'm okay with that, because he makes me question. And if I'm questioning, I'm on the right track. It's when I have answers, I stop and go, geez, where did I fall off? But he makes you question. So I think we're being sold a very sour, a lot of disinfo is there with who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Oh, we're all effed. The name's not mine. The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, we've been down all those roads.
Yeah, and that's not kidding. And yeah, I mean, I went through a foreclosure and basically got. Pardon? Oh.
No, go ahead.
No, I've been down a foreclosure. I, got to spend a couple hours in a cell for my efforts. The people that did it didn't want to do it. But they had no choice. And I've taken my share of hard knocks. And
it's very fascinating, because it seems to me the people that have spent time in jail, or been arrested or sectioned, have all stood in their naked truth and see things in a very different way. And I think if you've actually been incarcerated, I think you get everything on a much deeper level.
Well, it was for an hour and 45 minutes, but
Oh.
yeah, they called it detained.
Okay.
So,
but it does make a difference, because when you've had your freedom taken from you, I mean, even being 5 minutes in a cell, it certainly wakes you up to a lot of stuff.
What made the biggest difference was I had it videotaped, the whole confrontation. And what made the biggest difference was when I looked at the video afterwards and I saw the pain on their faces. That is what made the biggest difference, is when I realized none of them wanted to be there.
Mm.
And that puts a big spin on things, you know. I was never mistreated. In fact, when I look at that video, I'm almost embarrassed because I had more knowledge than they did, and they did not want to be there. So, yeah, but people go, oh, but, they're bad. No, they were doing the best with what they had to work with. And I was doing the best. And unfortunately, knowing what I know now, I would not have handled it the same way. But, hindsight is 20/20. But again, if I can encourage people to really look at what you're being shown, because they're showing you who has power, who doesn't, where you're being lied to, and where the truth is. And people aren't tuning in, whether it's the excitement of the blame game, whether it's the excitement of, the bad guy and they're out to get us. We have friends. We really do. And they are willing to give us information if we're willing to look for it.
Here's the thing, I'll sum that up very, very easily. They're going to give us exactly what we need to snap out of it. And depending on the level of peace that you've been operating in, will determine the outcome of how much hassle you're going to get. Yeah, I got handled a bit, but, not as bad as some that would be belligerent, because I'm not a belligerent type. I always stood in peace and calm and made my case very clear. And, I can speak firmly. And I will stand in that truth. And there are others out there. I mean, you can see the crazy kids getting, and I'm talking kids from, whatever age up to whatever age. When I say kids, I'm just talking about the maturity level of the individual, that are out there just knocking heads with these guys like it's some sort of game. And it is a game, but it's not the kind of game I want to play. But really, you're right, Zoe. They didn't want to do what they wanted to do, and I saw the face of some of those around me, and they didn't want to do it either. But,
yeah.
So again, there are, and I've seen watchers on both sides, and they do have a job to do, and they can say, I'm just doing that job. And they're, in some cases, it's as cruel and as bad as it feels sometimes. And I stand back and I laugh now because of all the things that I can go through in my own mind. But really, they're, that's your challenge to wake up. Can you go to peace? Can you put as much energy into going to peace as you can going to war with these guys? And that really is the test. And isn't it funny that when you actually get to the point of passing that test and get into that peace zone, you literally vanish off the radar. Because seriously, I'm on the air all the time. If, quote, they, unquote, wanted to get me, I mean, there are no secrets in this realm. There are no secrets anywhere. Anyone that thinks they can have a secret is full of shit. Because I'm sorry, this is one consciousness. You can't hide from yourself. That's part of for me, that's part of the biggest lesson. You can't hide from yourself. Oh, you can pretend to be this and pretend to be that, but at the end of the day, you still got to look in the mirror. And if you're an asshole or an idiot or a victim or whatever, I don't care. You're going to see it. You're going to see either the benevolence in your own eyes or the malfeasance and parasitical nature. That's yours, and you will see it. But most people can't even confront themselves, so it's no wonder they're in the mess they're in. You know, that for me is the hardest journey of all. You know, when you're walking down that yellow brick road, well, listen, if you're going to walk down the yellow brick road and start hacking every tree down and you know, beating up rusted solid tin men just because it's fun to do, well, expect a little bit of, you know, coming back at you, a few flying monkeys here and there. You know?
Yeah.
Just saying, you know?
Yeah. It's the same thing, like we were talking about earlier on, even people at the top of the list in blooming Black Ops programs and all the rest of it are all coming forward now. They're saying, look, I've seen what's going to come down the road and I don't want to be part of that. Let's change this tapestry while we've got a chance to. And, you know, they're just being backed up by more and more and more guys. And that's what we need. We need the people that do really know information that's needed to get that information out into the open. Contact Kate, contact me, contact any of us. I mean, you can find us on Facebook. You know, it's not a problem. Just come forward and we'll help you get the information out. It's the safest possible way. And that's what we need to do. We need to start telling about the truths now. And, you know, seeing it for what it really is.
Yeah, and something I was saying earlier when I was on with you and Alan from OIM and Catwolf on These Changing Times Radio, you know, I was talking about, let's talk about the real illusion here, you know, man behind the curtain, which is money. And for those, you'll hear people talking about money, and do you know what money is? And they'll say, oh, yeah, it's that. You know, how it's manufactured, yeah, it's created out of thin air from our signatures and everything else. And yet, they know it's that. So why are they running hell-bent for leather to get as much of it as they can? You know, it is such an oxymoronic thing, you know? It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. There you go. We've been had, guys. It's time to realise it.
It's just rung a bell with me. You just said, Kate, there are no secrets. Do you remember the film Sneakers with Robert Redford?
Yeah, that's going back a while.
Yeah, but I mean, again, another amazing film that's got anagrams in it, and they're trying to work out what the meaning of the sentence is, and it is there are no secrets.
Isn't that funny? The red sneaker, and then you've got the ruby slippers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's the same story, isn't it? More or less.
Well, yeah. When you go back to the original Frank L. Baum series, he wrote a ton of books for Oz. Wizard of Oz is just one of them. And a lot of these stories, I mean, I've read a couple of them. One that was very poignant for me as a child. But they all effectively have, although very different plot lines, very different characters, but they always have the same lesson in them, just told from a different perspective. That was one of the masteries of Frank L. Baum. Now, where was I going with that? I forget where I was going there.
Silver slippers, not red ones?
Oh, that's right, silver slippers, yeah. In the original book, the silver slippers, in the book it was silver, and the mystical aspect of silver is that it represents truth and mysticism, the feminine truth. And it is really the bare naked void of truth in creation. And that's where we have to get back to. And the reason why the Wicked Witch from the West couldn't take the shoes off of her was the symbolism of once you have learned a truth and you wear that truth and stand in that truth, no one can take it from you.
Mm.
The symbolism is I mean, you can't go 10 seconds in Wizard of Oz without seeing something. You know, but again, are you there to be entertained and all that pretty, look at the little dog, look at the little funny people and all the rest of it? Or are you seeing it for what it is? You know, the pi ratio, golden mean start out, right? That's the beginning of creation on this golden road. And look what Dorothy had to go through. She had to go through the haunted woods. She had to, you know, keep her wits about her. Her and her friends were attacked by the flying monkeys, and she ended up in the castle. And what was the only thing that could destroy the Wicked Witch of the West? Another symbol for truth. Water.
Mm-hmm. And how many movies do we see where somebody's drowned in the movie?
Mm.
Drowning seems to be a theme in the movies as well.
Yeah, we get to speak down in our own truth, and that is another heavy symbology. You know, and when people finally start to see the coincidences and the correlations within their lives. If there's something that triggers you of a memory as a youngster, pay attention. That's one of your clues. You gave yourself every clue you needed to get through down the yellow brick road, down to the Emerald City and out. Because, again, I said it in the end, I'll say it again. Glenda, the good witch of the North, tells you at the very end of the movie that you've had it within you all the time.
Apparently in the books, though, it's she was the Good Witch of the South, but they changed it, didn't they, to the North in the film?
Yeah, again, there's that duality, and North and South, East and West. I mean, when you start to look at the mystical sense, right? When the house came down on the quote Wicked Witch of the East, which is what they're trying to show is that the Eastern mysticism is evil, right? But here's the thing: where did the truth come from? Those shoes came from the Wicked Witch of the East. So for me, that was symbolic of those that are controlling the religions, claiming to have the truth from the East, had to be slaughtered in order for those shoes to be taken and worn by someone who would walk and stand in the truth in a youth innocence.
Yes.
Right? So, again, it's breaking it down to its barest bones to see far beyond what is being presented. And you got to come at it from a lot of different perspectives. And this is one of the reasons why we've had to do the walks that we've done, looking everywhere, so that we have a multitude of perspectives to draw from, not just one that was entrained or taught into us, which is what schools do. They teach you linear thinking. And there's no right angles in nature, boys and girls.
Yeah,
it's
why they call it school.
I'm intrigued about all of yours, you three, your education, because I had 13 primary schools and 2 secondary schools, and I'm very grateful for that, because I think I was dis-educated, which actually helped me out. I was never there long enough to learn anything or dislearn or be, just be put into a box. I was always really outside the box at school, totally.
Yeah, same here. However, on my side of it, I was actually good at school. It was fun for me, I just liked learning. I didn't care what they were trying to teach or what they were, trying to bring to me. It's what I took out of it. So, again, I had schooling here and I had schooling in Ireland. I did 3.5 form secondary school in Ireland, and entirely different mindset altogether. Like, my experience in school there was kind of learning how to think, and everything I had here was learning what to think.
Yeah.
And I got my grade 13 advanced, and in Ireland I was already set up for Queen's University of Belfast. All I had to do was finish one more year, and I was in university. That would be me at 15. So again, I'm grateful that I didn't have to go through that and get more nonsense pumped into me. But what it gave me was a perspective to look at it and go, no, that's crap. I assure you, I never always agreed with my teachers. I had a bit of a Nassim Harriman streak in me in school as well. I had a few teachers that were quite annoyed at my incessant questioning of their reality. They didn't like me too much some days. Oh well.
Excellent. It's an interesting thing as well, because I was actually taken out of school and put into state school as boarding school, which completely turned my life upside down. So I got separated from family when I was young, and so got used to being in a situation whereby I'm on my own, which is basically what it taught me. You're on your own, mate. Get used to it, and it pretty much stayed that way, really. Apart from now recently, I think.
Yeah, Miranda, you had done a bit of a lexigram on the Wizard of Oz title, did you not?
I read you a bit of what I'd done with that, but the other one I was thinking about was the thing that I did on Gravity Falls.
Oh, would you please? That would be awesome.
Because I thought I've only done a little one, and there's much more to come with it. But what's very interesting is discovering the words that are in the word Gravity Falls, because there's a word Alvira, because this has made me do some research. I've actually looked up definitions because I wasn't even sure what any of these words meant. But Alvira, A-L-V-I-R-A, means elfin army. And Astir, A-S-T-I, means on the move. And I don't know if you're aware that Fae is another word for fairy.
Mm.
So, this is what I've written. So if you imagine then, Fae is fairy, Alvira is elfin army, and Astir is on the move. So it goes like this. Fae, Alvira, Astir, fa-la-la, fa-la-la, galley, liars. Liars fail, liars fall. Fae, Alvira, Astir, fa-la-la, fa-la-la, galley, liars. Gravity fails, gravity falls. Fae, Alvira, Astir, fa-la-la, fa-la-la, galley, liars. Gravity falls flat, fa-la-la. And also, galley, G-A-L-L-Y, actually means frighten or terrify. So there are people out there trying to frighten and terrify, and they are liars.
Isn't it funny though? Let's tie in a few more words with galley, because galley, I had fascination with ships, still do. Ships. There you have displayed galley, but when you understand what a ship is ancient etymology for the word mind. So there they have fearful mind, totally layered. So a galley is a terrified mind.
Well, there's other words in here, because there's silva, S-I-L-V-A, and its meaning is jungle, forest, or woodland, and it is possibly one of the 7 tribes of Israel. What else have we got? Yagis. Now, I didn't even know what a Yagis is, but Y-A-G-I-S is a sharply directional antenna. And then you've got Altair, A-L-T-A-I-R, is the brightest star in the constellation Aquila and the 12th brightest star in the night sky. And it is currently in the G cloud. Da-na-na-na. It's like, you couldn't write this, could you?
No, and I'll carry on a bit further, because for those that know how to actually, and I have to thank Zoe for her beautiful instruction in this, the Black's Law Ninth Dictionary, or Black's Law Dictionary 9th edition, by the Wicked Witch of the West, no less, West Publishing. Anyway, is the magic book. If you look at Gravity Falls, you'll see through the series they show book 2 and book 3 in the series, because great uncle or Grunkle Stan has book 2 and Dipper has book 3. This is stranger than you can imagine, people. Now here is Alvira, as you would put it. The closest word I can get to it in Black's Law is this, alvia, which is historically, another history one, go figure, the bed or channel through which a stream flows in its ordinary course. Which I thought
really?
Was yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, give me another one of the words that you cracked, and I'll look it up in the magic book.
Okay, Alvy, A-L-V-Y.
A-L-V-Y. That'll be the same word, alvia.
Because that means elf friend.
Yeah, the better channel through which a stream flows its ordinary course.
And has it got Sylvia in there?
Silva or Sylvia?
Sylvia.
Okay, well, just give me a second. I'll dig it up. It's a big book. But
because when I looked for a definition of Sylvia, then something called 87 Sylvia came up, and it's one of the largest main belt asteroids, and it is a member of the Siebel group located beyond the core of the belt. And
Yeah,
Sylvia is remarkable for being the first asteroid known to possess more than one moon. And the number 8 and 7, well, we know what they, those are infinity, spiritual number, completion.
Right. Another interesting note in that the book that Zoe and Gary had sent out to me was delivered by none other than an elf in the flesh. So
Yes.
kind of, yeah, it's kind of neat when you have those kind of beings showing up, right? Now, the closest one that comes to it is Silver Parachute, because it's right in the middle here, and it says to see Tin Parachute. And I've looked this one up before, too, so I know where this is going. This is pretty funny, actually. You hear this. So we're looking for Tin Parachute. Guys, you got to get yourselves one of these books. Oh, my goodness. I've not had this much fun in years. It is. What this is it's a treasure hunt. And once you find the way to do it, it just becomes totally fun. So here's a Tin Parachute, which is an employment contract provision that grants a corporate employee, especially one below the executive level, severance benefits in the event of a takeover. And these benefits are typically less lucrative than those provided under a golden parachute, and it's also termed a silver parachute. Isn't that interesting?
Does it have anything in that book on sheep? Because another word in Gravity Falls is Argali, A-R-G-A-L-I, and guess what it means? Wild sheep.
Okay, Argali?
Roam the highlands, and I thought, yeah.
Okay, I need the actual original word. Argali,
Argali, A-R-G-A-L-I.
Okay, R-A-R-G. Okay, 1 sec. Argumentative, okay. So let's see what we can come up with here. Argali, archive.
Because Argal means therefore and thus. Argali, I've got wild sheep, and also Argal, which was a man called Sir Samuel Argal, and he was the first English expedition to contest, you'll like this, the French settlement in Arcadia.
Looks like the closest one to it here is Argentarius. Isn't that interesting? Roman law, it's Latin, a moneylender or a banker. Now here we have Argentarius Miles, which is, again, historically, it's one right below it, as above, so below, which is a money porter who carries money from the lower to the upper exchequer to be examined and tested. And if we're going as above, so below, we have to go to arguendo, which is Latin in arguing. One, for the sake of argument, assuming arguendo, that discovery procedures were correctly followed, the court still cannot grant the defendant's motion to dismiss. And during the course of the argument, or course of argument, counsel mentioned arguendo that the case had been followed in 3 other decisions. So again, when you start seeing the trail as to where we're going, what I've just been describing makes total sense. Zoe, your comments?
Hello. Sorry, I was muted there.
No, that's good. That's fine.
Basically, yeah, that's exactly what it is. They do use black magic in the movies and on TV shows. It's Black's Law magic, and or also known as Moors, because the laws that they're using also, the Moors use them, and they're black. So hence Black's Law. So the black magic in the movies is Black's Law book.
Yeah.
And one of the things, too, is wolves are synonymous with our protectors. They basically represent our guardians. And if you ever look at the movie An American Werewolf in London, it'll tell you in the description that it's an American that got bitten on the moors, aka got fenced in with Black's Law. So, yeah, Black's Law is a code book, and you can watch movies with it. Yeah.
Yeah, follow your nose. That's what it is. Now, I do have a caller that's called in again. I'm not sure they went off the line. I'm going to actually bring them in to see if they have any questions or comments. So bear with me for a second, guys. Okay, caller, area code 862-944. Are you listening, or do you have any questions or comments? Caller,
no, I'm just listening to the show.
You just listening? Okay, well, say hi to everybody. You might as well say hi now you're here.
Hello. I mean, hi. I listen to you frequently. I'm just listening to the show. I was listening off and on about the things that you was talking about.
All right.
About the names and stuff. How you can, like, you know, change the letters in your names. Like I said, I was just listening to you off and on.
Well, that's good. We're glad to have you. So, thanks for tuning in. I saw the number come up again. I thought, oh well, maybe they want to have a question because you were there and it was gone back. So, thanks for tuning in, and I'll put you back on hold. Enjoy the rest of the show, and glad to have you a part of the show.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're the kinder Jack Howard Sterns of the world, you know. Oh my goodness. Anyway, sorry about that. I don't like to keep anybody hanging on. We got like 20 minutes left, so I figured if anyone's got a question or whatever, now would be the good time to get it in. But anyway, Zoe, back to the movies and the Black's Ninth Law edition. And it's funny because as soon as you mentioned American Werewolf in London, coincidentally, just before I was talking to you about all this stuff, I had just went through watching, a bunch of clips from American Werewolf in London, like I was waiting for you, and that was one of the key things I noticed when they were trying to get away from, get off the moors after their little bar stint, and here we are, just, casual walk on the moors, and it just jumped out like a sore thumb.
Well, the moors actually had a lot to do with the things that are in play right now, and mind you, it's been used against them. But a lot of their, let's say, spells, magic, is called black spells, black magic, because it comes from the Black's Law Dictionary, which is basically a decoder. And werewolves. There's a lot of movies right now with werewolves, and vampires, the whole 9 yards. But if you look at a werewolf as mostly a protector, and wolves are protectors, and the werewolf is the one that's been got bitten on the moors. It's the one that's been bound by law, and so cannot act. And even though it wants to, it's waiting. It's waiting for you to give it the thumbs up, and it'll act for you. If you look at, like, even the song, Werewolf in London by Warren Zevon, I saw Lon Chaney Jr. walking with the Queen doing the Werewolf of London. Yes. I saw him down at Trader Vic's having a pina colada at Trader Vic's, doing the Werewolf in London. Like, even if you listen and see what's being said, they're telling you there's a deal going down. And he's being bound up in law. So, how do I say it? You've got to look for to look at what's really being said. And again, the Black's Law is a wonderful, like anything to do with black magic, the spells, they're talking about Black's Law, right? They're talking, about Black's Law. They're talking the Moors. He got bitten on the moors. Oh, gee. It's all there if you know what the words mean and what they're really talking about.
Yeah,
No,
there's a
I
couple of
totally agree. Go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say there's a couple of different areas there that I want to touch on just very, very briefly. One of them is this is why, a judge wears black. He's performing black magic on you. Whether or not people have got that information, we've said it loads and loads of times. This is why they wear a sheep's wig, because they're a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's right in front of our faces if we just look at it. And just on that, from the legal, they're doing the legal system is the bar, which is abracadabra. They're doing magic on you again. There's lots of different law forms that Kate is even more qualified to explain to you, all magical areas. So I'd like Kate to comment on that, but then I'd like to also mention something about the werewolf situation as well, because that's enshrined in Masonic information. You have to go way down the rabbit hole to get to this stuff. But I'll just let you mention on the legal system first, Kate.
Yeah, again, it is about black magic. One of the things that I also want to convey there as well, in that, yes, they're wearing the lamb's wool wig and tape and everything else, which you denote with Dracula, the vampire, energy vampire, if you will. But what they're actually showing you is your reflection of what you really are. You are a sheep in wolf, or a wolf in sheep's clothing. And what they're trying to get you to do is to peel back that layer to bring the true wolf of truth out. And we have another caller here. I'm not sure if they want to get on the air, but I'm going to Skype caller. We'll just go with Wormy. I'm going to make your mic live. If you have any questions or comments, we've got about 15 minutes left here, so glad to have you aboard. You there, Wormy? Oh, I clicked it. Didn't want to go. Sorry, hang on a sec. There it goes. There. Any questions or comments, Wormy?
Yes, I just wanted to know what your views on abortion is.
My views on which?
Abortion.
Oh, pick another show, hon, honestly. Yeah,
that's... I have an unborn fetus here because I work in an abortion clinic and I'm trying to sell it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, bye-bye.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, we'll just get rid of that. What an idiot. Anyway, just someone being an idiot. They have it's the same goof that killed up the last time. Remember I let him go for a little bit? that was funny. Bye-bye. Anyway, not to derail the comments, but yeah, getting back to the black magic aspects, that was funny. Getting back to the black magic aspects, yeah, it all ties together. When you can, like Zoe, you said it so eloquently. It's when you start to have the eyes to see, and you're peeling off the nonsense layers, and it's so difficult to try to explain this to somebody. It really is.
It's when you see it. Like, one of the things I noticed, I went down to the bank, I guess about 6 weeks ago, and when she turned the paper around to have me sign, she put an X on the line, sort of, this is where you sign. Well, I happen to know now that an X in the Black's Law Dictionary means it's undefined, meaning they can do whatever they want with my signature. Right? So I scratched the X off. But I also noticed when I'm at work, if somebody pays with a Visa, it comes out of the machine, it says signature, and then it has an X. And then you're supposed to sign beside the X. It's black magic. That X means it's an undefined signature, and they can do whatever it is they want. So, the Black's Law, although it is, you could say it's black, they call it black magic, whatever. The thing is, when you're going to play, you're in this world is using the Black's Law Dictionary, you may as well get informed and find out what the heck's going on. You really need to know when you sign your name beside an X, because I know in the banks they're trained. Just put an X there and that shows them where they're supposed to sign. They don't know that they're basically turning your signature into an undefined signature for further use. So it is all the black magic that they're using is in the Black's Law Dictionary, in my opinion. And if you're gonna play in this area, you've got to learn their rules. You know, you've got to learn what their spells are if you ever intend to break one.
Exactly. And this is why we've got things like the religions that don't even want you to look. Do you see what I'm saying? You're conditioned from birth not to actually look. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is why they demonize everything. It's incredible. It's incredible stuff.
Another thing that struck me there, when you think the judges wear black and then they've got white lamb's wool on their head, and again, it's black and white. There goes the balance again, because they're showing you it both, aren't they?
Checkerboard. Masonic checkerboard. That's the point.
Yeah.
It's black and white. There's no grey in there.
And yet the old lawyers, they were called sergeants at law. They were the most revered lawyers that worked for the Exchequer in England. They wore red robes for the flesh and blood.
Yeah.
Again, that's even more symbolic because it's the colour of blood. It's a blood situation. Plus, it's also a fight or flight colour. When you see red, it startles you. It puts you into that fight or flight mode, basically.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. I was muted out. Anyway, carry on there, Tony. What was that again?
No, just saying about the fight or flight mode. When you see red, it's a startling colour. It actually triggers the fight or flight situation, doesn't it? It's like a red actual stop sign on a traffic light. Same sort of thing.
Yeah, again, it's all the symbols, and when you start understanding what they all mean, instead of being afraid of them, it's about understanding them. And that's what I was, saying in the essay earlier. Here's an individual that's spewing out all this. This symbol means Satan, and this symbol means this and that and the other. And I'm going, Chicky, you haven't even been down the rabbit hole, and you're trying to spew something you don't know anything about. Have you ever been in a Masonic lodge? No.
What you said is actually very true, is that if you don't know what the symbols really mean, you're getting a lot of disinfo. And the disinfo is going to send you down this fear track, which is not necessary at all. That the symbols are there because they go all the way back in our history, and they've been powerful for us. And it's not a bad thing to look into the symbolism and find out what they really mean. So when some goofball says, "Oh, that's this is this and this, and it's gonna take away your soul, and you're gonna be powerless, and then the aliens are gonna come down and take you away, and you're just gonna be a meat sack." No, it might actually mean something very positive. So it's good to do your own research.
Yeah. Well, look at Gravity Falls. The most obvious thing and the most prevalent thing in all the episodes that I've been able to watch, bits and pieces, there is one symbol that is there most often, and it's a question mark. Question, 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 question. They're telling you question this, saying run away and be afraid of it. It's look at the word quest, ion. Put some energy into the treasure hunt. That's what a question is.
And have fun with it. Like, this is something else, too, we've stopped doing, is we turn it into we've taken the fun out of our own lives. Like, we play the blame game. Oh, it's not us, it's them. We don't have any money. We can't have any fun. They're, put fun in your research. I have a very good research partner, Kate, and we just laugh. And we laugh at our own mistakes. I mean, some of the things we thought, and then, didn't turn out the way we thought. We laugh at it. And if you can get to the point where you see this journey as actually a game and try and have fun with it, and the fear porn that's going on is unnecessary. It really is. And I'm not saying, hey, there's nothing going on out there, but where you are, you're going to miss a lot of the fun that's happening right around you.
Totally agree. And it's very interesting, question mark. If you all now just write a capital G with a long tail and then a question mark, it's actually a mirror reflection. And that's actually my mum's artistic signature. She was always G question mark. My mum was very incredible, which is where I get it from. But I just thought that was really, because she always used to question, her name was Georgina, and she used to say, Georgina who? Who am I? You know, her father was a Mason, and I think that's interesting. Again, you know, she was named Georgina.
Yeah, that's my grandmother's name as well. Isn't that funny?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and a little search there for Winnie the Worm. Not sure if it's the same one, but yeah, I'm going to be hot in the trail of this one, so you might want to change your Skype name, because I can do lots of neat tricks on Skype now. Just saying, you know. So if you're going to call in with a prank call or whatever, you might want to use a phone number next time, but I'll see that too, so just a heads up. Just because I'm that kind of a, you know, I'm a treasure hunter. I love looking for hidden things, and we got pretty good at it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, it's true, and people have got to lose the fear porn. They've got to lose their adult fear that has been so ingrained into us, and they got to find that child again, and put the effort going back into peace. And never mind who's got marbles in what box or whatever. You know, so many people are so ungrateful for what they have that they keep belittling their own lives and their own circumstances. You know, here's a clue as to how your day started, and it's a good thing where it didn't start this way for many. It's where you did this. Oh, cool. Game on.
Yeah.
I can remember waking up and going, damn, I'm back again.
Damn.
But, yeah, it took me a while to get out of that one. But that's why I can laugh now. But yeah, like there are times you get into it and it's like, crap. The other world didn't come and take me.
Yeah, I'm still stuck in this little illusion. I haven't figured it out yet. But, you know, we will. It's all good.
But what is interesting is when you watch the shows and you see the dual message, it is almost like living in another world, because you've got the one meaning from our own ears, and then you've got the other meaning that's coming out through understanding the symbolism and understanding different things. It puts a whole new twist on what you're seeing.
Yeah, it's all in the mirror.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, listen, guys, we've got about 4 minutes left here. If you can, maybe do a little wrap up each. And I got to tell you, this has been a fun show. Yeah, we got 2 minutes and 44 seconds here. So a little wrap up from final comments from all of you. That'd be great.
Miranda?
I would just say, people start lexigramming, have a go, see where it takes you, because it can really open up all sorts of avenues for everyone.
Excellent. Zoe?
I'm not sure, except life's a really neat game and have some fun. That's easy enough, eh?
And I think we're going to start asking people for, we're going to ask Black's Law for some shares in the books, because I got to tell you, people, you need to get yourself a copy of the Decoder Ring. And when you start to learn how to use it, we do have about a minute and a half here, Zoe. Can you kind of just a quick synopsis of how to use the Decoder Ring?
Gee. Okay, Z Wars is coming out in April. So I look up Z Wars in the Black's Law Dictionary. And it's about when people who have had a legal, who have had privileges because of a legal duty, now have people coming out of nowhere whose powers actually supersede theirs. And I thought, that's not a bad thing to be coming out. And that's from the Black's Law Dictionary. So look at movie titles names of people. Yeah, and have fun. They're telling you something.
Yeah, things that resonate with you. They are telling us if we have the eyes to see. So, Tony, we got 50 seconds here. Any final comments there?
Not really. Thanks, guys, for joining us on the show. It's been quite a very interesting show. Third in the line today of different shows. But again, I just want to throw it out there. I wrote a book, Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness. It's available on Awake Conscious Awareness, plus Kate's site, plus Santos' site, plus Open Your Mind Radio right now as well. And that'll begin to give you some of the background into what the heck's going on. So I hope that's of use to people. That's all.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Tony. Let's move the tune tonight to Outside the Box. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia, with co-host Tony C. and special guests Miranda and Zoe. Don't forget to tune in every night, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to freedomreigns.us Blog Talk Radio. Much love and safe travel.
Bye.
We're good.
See you later, guys. Thanks for listening.
Good night, you guys. Zoe, I'll catch you in a little bit, okay, hon?
Night, night.
Night.
Good night.
Night, Jim Bob.
No, it's not Jim Bag. Yeah, good night, Jim Bag. Now, what was the other one? Lawn Boy. Yeah, good night, Lawn Boy. Good night, Jim Bag. Anyway, good night, all.
Night, night.